Whoever was drinking with him isn't necessarily the person who dropped the notebook, but whoever dropped the notebook is maybe the person who did it. Let's just keep going for now. We'll speculate later when we have a lot more to figure out. Right, Witcher Vision. Have a look. Okay, so we've got a shelf there. Suspiciously empty spaces. An outline of dust.
This place is not covered with dust, like the rest of the shelf. An object was taken from here.
Box.
It was larger than a book. A box or a small chest, perhaps.
Sperm whale teeth.
The tooth of a sperm whale, probably from one of Peter Carey's catches. Dundee. Hammerfest. It's a whaling map.
Hammerfest. A festival of hammers.
The ship's logs of the Sea Unicorn for the years 1878 to 1884. Peter Carey was her captain.
He wasn't a whaler at all, he was a pirate. He could have been.
The ship's logs of the...
Why can I not do anything else with that? So I can't read those yet.
The murder weapon was probably taken from this rack.
Yep, there's one missing. Have a look in here. Got his boots.
Peter Carey's boots. They look to be a size 8.
We can check those against the boot prints outside. We'll see if they measure up.
Old navigation instruments, nothing interesting.
No, but they'd be worth a fortune these days. Nothing else in the chest? Nope. Okay.
The Sea Unicorn. She was the ship that Peter Carey commanded.
Okay.
Well, Mr. Holmes, what do you think?
I think he was killed with a harpoon.
I think that we are lucky.
And why is that?
Because of last night's attempted break-in.
Oof, you've lost me.
It is very probable that whoever came here hoped to find the door open. They tried to force it with a knife blade, but they failed. What will they do? Why, return tonight, when they will be better prepared.
Aha! So what do you propose?
We shall remain on the outside, near the window, where we stand the best chance of catching sight of our visitor. Well, gentlemen, ready your pistols. We have a long night ahead of us.
Alright, let's go look at those boot prints again meanwhile. Do they measure up to the boot? No.
These boots don't match the footprints.
It's a size larger, perhaps. And again, since they're to the side of the path, somebody walked down here side by side with someone else, I think. What? 13 months but 11 months streak. So which do we count? We count the sub, as always. Doesn't matter how long. Chassis, thank you very much. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you for that resub. Much appreciated. How are you today? How are things? Are you still feeling on the up? Because I know you've not been well lately. You're good? Awesome! Are you ready to help us solve some crime? We're going to need all your brain power today, Chassis, because, let's be honest, look who's playing the game. You know, I need some intelligence here to back me up. Feeling on the up and good. Sweet! That's what we like to hear. Seriously, everyone else in chat who's watching right now, go follow Chassis. She's a great streamer. She is so much fun and goofiness. You'll love it. Okay, there's nothing else. Let's try talking to the newly widowed Mrs. Carey. Let's see if perhaps she has any more to add on this. You have all the best answers for the crimes? Nice. Yes, was Peter a smoker, my dear?
Is this your husband's tobacco pouch?
I'm not sure. It might be, but he hadn't smoked in a very long time.
Interesting. And yet he had it with him that night. Would it not just be in a box somewhere? Let me guess the answer is the bad guy did it. Yes. Get all the possible killers in one room, burn the room, and poof. End of case. I like it. I like it a lot. I can consider this as an option going forward now. And just say that Chassis made me do it.
Your husband's private papers. Do you know where they are?
There was a small tin box, barely larger than a book. He kept his papers there. It should be somewhere in his cabin.
That's the box that's
Thank you,
missing.
madam.
So, on the night of the murder, somebody dropped a notebook with JHN in the inscription on the front in the blood. After the blood was on the floor, because it was on the underside. That was where the blood was. It didn't fall on top. Whether that happened during the actual killing, or whether or not somebody dropped it, having gone into the body to see the body afterwards, but they didn't raise an alarm. We don't know. Whoever was in there as well took a box, either the killer or somebody else. We didn't lock. The door wasn't locked. It was open all night after the murder, 2 nights ago. And then after she called the police, Lestrade locked the door yesterday. In the meantime, over the previous night, somebody tried to gain entrance to the shed. And that's where we're at. I bet they placed it on his body, so he's not the killer. Yes. The dead guy is the killer. He impaled himself with a harpoon. He does look strong. He could have done it. He has all the strength. Confirmed it because I said it. Let's have a look at some more clues then. What else do we have? So, task, make an ambush. We have more clues now. So, Peter Carey is a non-smoker. That doesn't match up to the tin box, the break-in attempts pinned to the wall of the gardener. As far as I'm aware, you can't make the wrong associations with this information. So, it's always good to just click all the things. No gardener and missing tin box don't measure up. Break-in attempt, missing tin box. You see, they wouldn't have tried to break in. You know, if they wanted the tin box and all his papers, they wouldn't have tried to break in to steal that. So no, that doesn't work. Pinned to the wall, missing tin box doesn't come together as well. You're always right because you're Chassis. I'll take your word for it then. Absolutely, I believe this. So we need to make an ambush. We'll see if they come back tonight. There's nothing else here then. There's definitely nothing about this we need to look at. This looks like a normal piece of whatever.
We need to find a good place for an ambush. Perhaps behind Carey's cabin, near the window.
Yes, thank you. Can we get around back there? Oh, we can. Sweet. The suggestion from yesterday is a strong contender for a new emote. Yes! Which one was this? The salted cinnamon roll? The one with like a big pile of salt being poured over cinnamon rolls. That would work. Because yes, if you get very salty, then Chassis is a salty cinnamon roll. We all know this. I unlocked a new emote slot as well on Saturday. I'm now got my second emote slot, so I'm gonna have to start thinking about what to put in there. I'm thinking about like my wolf logo, but with the like holding onto a heart, because we don't have a heart emote. I mean, we can use the built-in Twitch ones for sure, but it's nice to have your own, you know. Ooh, there it is. Hiding spot.
This looks like the perfect hiding place.
So we'll have a think about that one. But I might change the sort of default wolf grin with something else. A death logo. Like a skull and crossbone, but a wolf skull. Because I die a lot in video games, so... Ginger Salt suggestion is also good because I can see both working. We'll let the community decide. Cool. I'm looking forward to seeing what comes out of it. Yes, I do die a lot. This is true. I need to look into a death counter. Streamlabs bot has one, but it's on a different PC, so I can't pull from the file, and it doesn't export it to the Streamlabs website. It's built into the actual app. And that's on a second PC run. I don't run the bot on my gaming PC because I turn this off at night.
Did you hear that?
So yeah. I need a web-based death counter solution. It's a teenager who thinks he's older because he's grown a moustache.
I'll be right behind you.
A little bit of fluff on the upper lip.
Police! Hold it right there!
Go on, get him! Get him! You have to get going, time for work. Oh, no problem. Thank you for that resub.
Mr. Holmes,
That's awesome.
come and see what we've caught
And
you on
yes,
next.
before you leave, you have something for me?
Mr. Holmes?
Hello, Mr. Holmes?
All right, my fine fellow. Who are you and what are you doing here?
You're detectives, I suppose. You imagine that I'm connected to the death of Captain Carey. I assure you I'm innocent.
Innocent? Then what are you doing in his
Thank you for
Shall
that
I
gift
tell
sub
you?
to Alchemist.
You came to retrieve what you had lost after killing Peter
Oh,
Carey.
Chelsea, that's awesome.
But we were
Thank you.
here, waiting for you.
What is your name?
John Hopley Nelligan, but I didn't.
Do you deny that you came here yesterday?
JHN.
No, but yes, it's just that I couldn't.
I'm tired of this. Off we go to the yard.
Off to the
Tomorrow,
yard with him.
I'll see that you're put in
Thank you for
front
that,
of the
Chelsea. Have a
judge.
good day at work.
What? But you can't.
See
I'm
you
not-
later.
It's a terrible mistake.
Enough. You can explain all of that to the judge. You're coming with me to the yard.
But
In light of recent events, it seems evident that your coming here was unnecessary. All the same, I'm very grateful to you, Mr. Holmes.
You are welcome, Inspector. But please don't be too hard on our young fellow. I would like to question him tomorrow morning.
So... We've got nothing new there. Stop being so darn nice. Okay, so we can examine his belongings and question him. We should probably look at his belongings before questioning him, and then we'll have stuff we can talk to him about.
Mr. Holmes?
Mr. Holmes? See, the police officer's only got one voice and only got one line. Poor buggers. Okay, nothing there. Oh, this guy's got more dialogue than the
Good morning, Mr.
standard.
Holmes. Can I help you?
He got paid more.
Good morning, Constable. I would like to speak to the fellow who was arrested at Woodman's Lee last night.
Ah, the young man. He's waiting in the interrogation room. You can go straight through. His belongings are held in the evidence room.
Thank you.
The voices, though. They all talk a little bit like this, and I think it's because they've got that chin strap on the old on their helmets there. It stops them being able to open their mouths much. They're having to talk through their teeth a lot. God, that must be harsh. Look at that. It's not going to be elasticated at all. That's just keeping the chin. Yeah.
Mr. Holmes?
Mr. Holmes? See what I mean? They all talk like that. Alright, so this here is the evidence room. Yes, it is. Here's his belongings, Nelligan's belongings. What do you have for us, Nelligan?
Belongings.
So we've already linked the notebook to him now,
The
JHN.
notebook that we found on Peter Carey's cabin floor.
So we don't know enough yet about these abbreviations.
Mean something, but what?
Here's a ring. Nothing on the outside. What about the engraving? What do we have? From R. Dawson to my friend and partner, 1883.
And partner, 1883. From R. Dawson. To my friend, Dawson. I've seen this name before. Perhaps my archive holds the answer. A handkerchief with the initials JHN.
The guy has an embroidered handkerchief. He looks like a street urchin. And the pocket knife that he probably tried to use to force the door open.
A pocket knife. It was used to force the door of Peter Carey's cabin.
Badly notched as well, that knife. Jesus, does he not keep it in good condition?
Locked.
That's Lestrade's office, okay. The morgue. So have we moved the body down here now? We haven't yet. Okay. Doesn't look as though there's any reason to be here just yet. I wonder if I should go and check that archive first before talking to the young man. Maybe. Let's see if we can. I must return to my apartment and review my archive. Very bumpy ride as well, Jesus, look at this. Alright, archives, what have we got here? Alright, so we've got research and newspapers. So this is things like how to do a blood test, vaporization techniques, toxic metal in hair. Wow, okay. Arsenic, the king of poisons. Okay, so these are medical-based things, and chemistry and the like. So we want newspapers. The first electric railway opens. So these are the years, 1883. Okay, good. The Bankruptcy Act of 1883.
That is not the one I need.
Damn, I wanted to read it though, game.
That is not the one I need.
Apparently not. Okay. Fenian condemned for murder. Dawson and Nelligan are bankrupt. Ooh, okay. So, from R. Dawson to my friend and partner. So this was given to a Mr. Nelligan. Probably the father of this kid. Dawson and Nelligan Investment Fund bankrupt. Nelligan missing. The Dawson and Nelligan Investment Fund, a regional banking institution based in Cornwall, has declared for bankruptcy as a result of heavy losses in its loan portfolio and has accordingly been assigned for liquidation. It was the 23rd largest bank in Britain, and its bankruptcy was the second largest on record. Damn. The liquidation of company is a pure catastrophe for many Cornwall families. Joshua Nelligan, one of the bankers, has since mysteriously disappeared. He was last seen aboard his yacht, preparing for departure to Norway. Nelligan is wanted by both the police and his creditors. Really? The Black Peter also sailed to Norway for his whaling.
Here it is. Now I begin to understand that young man's story, but I am still unclear as to what connects him with the murder. It is time to ask him.
Okay. So we can interrogate the guy. Ah, Watson, my old bean.
Good gracious, you caught someone. At least now you have a suspect.
Yes, indeed. Toby!
Brave Toby, the best nose in the British Empire.
Ah, no. Let's never look through that again.
My analysis table. It is useful for my work.
Mm-hmm. Alright. Let's go to the yard. Let's find out what this young man has to say for himself. Is it a requirement in any game to pet the dog? Oh, it is a requirement. I know, and it didn't let me do it. It just let me look at him and go, ah, what a nose on that dog, eh? Oh, there's different people here. Interesting. So we've got a butcher. Yeah. This game must have been made before, you know, dog pet coding had been invented. That's the interrogation room.
Mr. Holmes?
Mr. Holmes? Who's this rough-looking character? Shady little bastard. Alright. Why is this guy not in cuffs? Seriously. Be hanging from the rafters by his fingernails. Let's save the Dawson and Nelligan talk for afterwards. First, let's examine the kid. Let's see what we can find. So he's got a nice flat cap, very Yorkshire. He thinks he's in his 20s, but he's really probably like 14 or something. Look at that bloody upper lip fluff. So this is all patched and stitched up. That means this jacket means something to him. He's not likely to just throw it away. Or he's in poverty, which because of the bankruptcy, and this is the only jacket he has left, so he's got to keep it stitched together. But it's expensive fabric, so he came from money, which we know. Short sleeves, so it's not his fit. He's had this since he was a kid. Elaborate buttons, so probably tailored work. Scabs and bruises. Not accustomed to manual work, but having to do some lately. There's a thin neck, so he doesn't eat very much. And he has an ear. And a shabby cap. Let us talk about that notebook first.
Does this notebook belong to you?
Yes. But where did you find it? I did not know... I thought I'd lost it at the hotel.
What do these abbreviations mean?
Oh, no. I beg you, I can't. If I told you, it would only make things worse.
But I will find out eventually, Mr.
I think I know what they are. I think I know what those abbreviations are. I think they're account numbers. of assets that have been squirreled away. What about this knife?
The sea knife was found near Carey's body. Tell me, Mr. Nelligan, did Mr. Carey try to defend himself or to attack you with it?
I don't know. I didn't kill anyone.
The police seized this valuable ring from you. Whose is it?
I didn't steal it from anyone. It has always belonged to me.
John Nelligan is wearing an expensive but worn and ill-fitting jacket that had previously belonged to someone else, most likely his father. So that could be relevant. You know, we could say, well, the jacket clearly doesn't belong to you. What makes you think that the ring belongs to you as well? Probably belongs to the jacket owner, right? So it's either the ring's engraving, which we challenge him on, or we challenge him on the whole father's jacket. This is hard to decide. It's one or the other. It's not that.
I didn't steal it from anyone.
Oh, it lets you try again.
It has always belonged to me.
Okay. I don't remember it letting you try again. I always thought it just meant that you got the wrong information.
The ring's date of engraving is many years ago.
Maybe because it's the
You
first
would have
case,
been
it's
a
been
child
easy on
then,
us.
hardly in any position to receive such an item from a
That's a good
partner.
point. The date. I didn't think about the date. So, who's the owner?
So, Mr. Nelligan, who is the true owner of the ring?
The ring is mine.
Now the jacket.
No, Mr. Nelligan. I believe that the ring had belonged to your father.
Oh, but how do you know?
The jacket you are wearing is made of an expensive fabric that only a man of exceptional wealth could afford. You do not seem to me to be a rich man, Mr. Nelligan. Furthermore, the garment is ill-fitting. It is quite clear that it belonged to someone else, most probably your father. With your father gone and taking with him the family's wealth, as a little boy you had to find yourself a manual job, and it was most probably cleaning fish. You cut your hands often while working. I can tell from the scars.
I'm speechless, Mr. Holmes. It all happened exactly as you say.
I have heard the story of Dawson and Nelligan, the West Country bankers.
Yes, Joshua Nelligan was my father.
I am aware that it had a bad ending. When the bank failed, it ruined half the families of Cornwall, whereupon Joshua Nelligan disappeared.
My father was under extraordinary pressure. Dawson had retired. I was only 10 years of age at the time, but it was still old enough to feel the shame that befell our family. My father was convinced that he could pay off all his debts if the creditors gave him time. He set sail for Hammerfest in Norway in his small yacht just a few days before an arrest warrant was issued. He left my mother a list of the securities he was taking. No word was ever heard from him again. We believe that his vessel went down, taking with it everyone and everything on board.
Thank you for the story, Mr. Nelligan. At last, we are making some progress.